Today is Tuesday, June the 16th, and this is going to be a pretty short video because right now everything depends on the news. And trading is either excessively bullish or excessively bearish. Look at the volume. Dow opened up big time, as did NASDAQ, as did the S&P. Dropped because it was just a little bit too much. It was a couple of things, right? It was maybe there's a treatment for COVID and Trump's going to spend $1 trillion on infrastructure. But it ain't going to happen anytime soon. You know that. It's not going to happen before November. He's going to use that as you got to re-elect me before you see the $1 trillion. So once the market realizes that, there's going to be another pullback. Let's take a look at the McClellan oscillator, which had a very nice jump up to 100. So it is approaching the overbought area, but there's still much more room to go. We could just chatter in here for a while. I frankly don't know. Let's look at the charts. First of all, let's look at the volume. The stacked volume was only slightly higher than yesterday, and yet we had this massive increase in the Dow, and the buying was what do you call this, 20% higher than the day before, and selling was pretty low. That's what it looks like. Buying just a little bit higher, volume a little bit lower. So and the summation index continues to notch a little higher, so you can't see it very well here, but that little, maybe we can see it this way, I doubt it. That little pullback was very tiny, and we're on our way back up again. Remember, this is a 3 and 6 month indicator. So a quick run of the charts. The Dow Jones stays above the 80 MA and above the 200 moving average. In the S&P, remember we had the 50 has now made, this is an hourly chart, but the 50 this morning, just after the open, made this is a daily 50 over 200, made a golden cross, a bullish cross. And if you go back historically, won't do it today, you'll see that when that happens, the market does indeed move higher over a period of time. So things are looking rosy, and the volatility index didn't change that much, but it's still above the neutral resting spot where it's spent so much time. Apple, huge day today, finished at the top end of its trading range, just short of its high of 355, and that 127.2% Fibonacci, you can be sure that there are sellers waiting there, but also sellers that are going to take the opportunity to buy a nice little pullback like they did here. So they got out here on June the 10th, 11th, 12th, and then started buying back in on Monday. Caterpillar, big jump, 130. Again, this was infrastructure news related. Let's see if it happens. It's not going to impact Caterpillar's earnings this year, in my opinion. Home Depot, big recovery from yesterday, only because it's a strong stock, and that's a weekly chart. Let's put it on the daily. And I think we'll continue to do well as long as the unemployment situation gets better. NVIDIA was one of the few stocks to be down today. Whirlpool finished at this doji just at the 8. The banks, somebody made a joke that the Fed is going to start buying stocks soon. Why not? If they're buying corporate bonds, they might as well buy a stock. Bank of America breaks above the 8 and the cloud. Goldman Sachs above the 8 and the 200. JP Morgan below the 200. Citigroup below the 200 but above the cloud. US Bank Corp just got pushed down back by the cloud. But overall, banks are looking pretty good. So where do we go tomorrow? It's going to be news driven. I think tomorrow will still be an up day. I'm not sure if the week will still be an up week or if we're just going to trend. I am frankly not planning on doing anything with my positions this summer. Everything is covered with decent short calls, August, September, and November dated. And if the market were to stay where it is today, the time premium in those calls will wear off, and it will be a fairly good return for me. So if the market didn't go up, I would be very happy. If it were to pull back a little bit, I would be even happier. But I don't expect that it's going to be setting any records before Election Day.